Hey everybody, McGorilla31 here, back for FSI DFS. I'm solo again. TK is just returning from vacation. Hopefully he'll be back for the Cup preview tomorrow. We have another road race. We're at the Road Course of America. Road America, pretty appropriate for 4th of July weekend. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Celebrate safely if you're going to. So it's another week where we have practice and qualifying. So that helps us because we get a truer feel for when we finally get the lineups, but the time between when they end and the lock for the race, we only have like an hour or two. So it's going to be a scramble. So this is not a set it, forget it thing. You really need to pay attention because if somebody like the last time we had this, couple guys failed tech and they ended up qualifying at the bottom and they were massive chalk because they were decent cars. Or somebody like John Hunter Nemechek drives the wrong way around the racetrack because he didn't like his speed run up for the qualifying and then tried to do it again but does it wrong and NASCAR disqualifies him and he starts last, becomes massive chalk also. So place differential is going to be very key here. You're going to want a couple guys up top, but you're going to look for place differential also. So it is at least a track for Xfinity that they were at last year. The Cup hasn't raced here since like the 40s or something. It's some crazy long time. So some of the drivers are definitely familiar with this. So what you're seeing on the screen here, the plays cash GPP, we're not sure yet. So what we have done with these previews and what has been successful recently is to just pretty much take their composite score. So I used the Road America data from 20. The Mid-Ohio race was a road course. The Dakota race was a road course. The Daytona road course. And average all those speeds together. And then their starting position was where they finished with the practice speed today. So again, these are not true projections that you're looking at. It's just kind of a guideline for us to kind of look at to see with pricing where these guys might start. And actually, when they did this for, I forget what it was, Charlotte or Mid-Ohio, or the last time they had a qualifying and a race, most of the guys where they ended up in practice is where they ended up qualifying. So not to say this is 100% accurate, but it was pretty close other than those anomalies that I just mentioned. So again, just going to go through the field, give you my feel on some of these guys, and then hopefully get you some information. And that's why, you can leave comments. My Twitter handle is up to my right there, my Gorilla31. I know a lot of you with these races here, once the lineups have come out, shoot me a question or so. Again, everybody's going to be scrambling. There's not much time between the end of qualifying when the final lineup, once they've got all the disqualifications and they redo tech and everything and figure out what the lineup's going to be. So you're going to have a very limited window before the race to be able to get your lineups in, which is good because I think there's going to be a lot of dead and inefficient lineups because I think people are just going to kind of set it with their favorite drivers and go enjoy their holiday weekend or have family obligations and other things going on. So it's a good chance if you are paying attention to make some money. So again, we're just trying to help you out here as much as we can, giving you some base knowledge. So let's just start at the top. Austin Syndrick had the fastest speed in practice. He is a very good driver. 10.7 is a decent price. So no problem playing him in cash. We'll see. Even if he ends up close to the top, I think he's aggressive. And this track does favor more aggressive drivers. There are some long straightaways where you can get by and pass people. So this track is good for his style. So definitely like him. Jed Burton is a little bit surprising here with his speed in practice today. He hasn't been bad overall. 9.5 average running position in Mid-Ohio, 8.7 Coda, 14 at Daytona. So if he does qualify in the top 5 with his price tag, he's somebody to look at because you might need somebody in this price range. And if his car is this fast, then he might lead some laps. And the thing is here is, like, again, we're looking for place differential, but we also want to get finishing position because a lot of the guys, if this is truly when we practice and qualifying, the slower car is going to be in the back. They're really going to have no chance unless something happened during qualifying to get up further. So the guys that start up here, you don't risk losing as many finishing positions as when NASCAR is using a formula for the starting position. So Syndrick I have finishing fourth, Jade Burton finishing third. Allgaier, he's a decent driver in road courses. I just worry a little bit about him. Um, just with such a stacked field with some ringers in here and some cup guys. If this was just straight up regular Xfinity drivers, I would like him a lot better. 9.5 is a decent price for him, but I think I'm probably going to end up wanting to pay $1,000 more to get into the 10 grading range for some better guys like AJ Allmendinger, road course ringer. Definitely cool. It's a good car. So he's got the equipment. He came from the back last year. He started in the 30s and got up front pretty quickly here. 5.8 Mid America, 6.1 Coda. Daytona 27th, but I believe he got in some trouble and wrecked there. I don't think it was his fault. So that's skewing the average a little bit. If I take that 27 out, do that quickly. I mean, that definitely, moves him up to third instead of finishing fifth. I mean, not a big difference there, but he's definitely one that probably you're going to want to lock in. It might be like probably one of my favorite drivers here with Syndrick. Hemrick, I don't know. He's really struggled, even though he's been fast here. Daytona, he was good, but that was more of like not really a true road course like this one is. That's where we put cones up on a speedway track and pretend we're at a road course. But looking at like Coda and Mid Ohio, we had almost the same numbers. Road America last year did not do well, so he's a GPP for me, but I don't think I'll be playing him in lineups. Ty Gibbs, he did he win the first? I think he won the first. It was his first race. It was the Daytona road course. So he's been really good here. He was really good in Mid Ohio. Practice average, even though he's in the 81 car, he has a crew chief that's usually at the 54 car that's dominated this year in Xfinity. So no problems playing him here, even though there's going to be growing pains. Kyle Busch, I think you got to kind of lock him in, especially at 10.9. They cheapen his salary a little bit because you have like Harvick in this and some other ringers, but I think definitely Kyle Busch is one that's going to go out there and be able to dominate this, especially if he doesn't get a really good starting spot. If something happens like weird in practice, kind of, or not practice and qualifying. So even if he qualifies on the pole, like he can get there. Again, there's not many dominating points, and this is a road course, so the laps are longer. I think there's only like 30 some laps in this. Let me check that. The laps are 45, so not a ton of dominating points there, but if he gets them all, that's just a bonus. Justin Haley, I think he can make a case for him. He's actually been silently pretty decent at road courses. Cool, like maybe sharing some notes with Allmendinger and Jade Burton. Maybe that's why they're so fast. But all these cars just seem to be fast at practice. So he's one that has had his issues. He had that hard crash last week at Pocono, which knocked him out of the Cup race, which he was supposed to be running. But I think he's been recovered. He's fine. It seemed like it was just pretty much precautionary. So and he's raced a lot of different things here. I think he ran the Indy here previous, and last year he did really well in this race. He had an averaging running position of 6.8, and I think he finished second, if I'm looking at the scoring correctly. So definitely some to watch at 8,900. It's a good price. Alex Labasian is really cheap. He is a very good road course driver. He's in an okay car here. DGM Racing has been pretty solid. I mean, last year I think he was like 9K. So, and it wasn't because he was really starting the back. I think they just realized that he was a pretty good road course driver. I just don't think he gets the respect here. But last year, Road America 12-7, 12-4. Coda and Daytona wasn't, but still in the top 20 in running. 9th overall here. Maybe let's hope some of these guys figured some stuff out for practice. But it's weird because sometimes, like with such a short period in between the race and practice, some cars set their cars up for qualifying and then have to go and change it for the setup for the race because it's short run versus long run speed. And again, long run it's different on a road courses and a super speedway. But maybe let's just hope that LeBay was a little bit faster here just because other guys are trying things during practice and they weren't going all out, but they will for qualifying. And if they get ahead of him, but he's a better road course racer, so he'll get ahead of them. So if he has some place differential, I just love him at this price here. Jeremy Clements he's been having a solid season. He's like one of the ones that you just constantly see up in the top 15. I think he's definitely a top 20 car, probably a top 15 at 6,500. If he starts anywhere 15th back, that's just a dream. Between 10 and 15, I think I could still consider him a cash here because he's just solid. Noah Grayson has just been a train wreck. He was dead last at Miami, Ohio. You wrecked the car there. Coda, he had issues there. Daytona, he had issues. He raced America last year. He was up in the top 3. 11th fastest. He's GPP only. He is so volatile. He's probably the first one that I'd put in because he's just like Kyle Busch usually is in NASCAR. It would never surprise me if he won it, but just being so aggressive and just making mistakes and killing himself, I just don't see him, especially if he qualifies up in the top 5 or so. And I just can't do it. Preston Pardis, I think he's probably a little bit faster, but he's another DGM car here with LeBay. You've got a couple of road course guys in the same team here coming in and filling in. And, he's had solid results. Mid-Ohio and Coda weren't as good this year. So, Road America last year is almost up in the top 10, 12 for speed here. So I think he's just better maybe at this course than some of the other road courses, but still he's a veteran road course driver. So hopefully he starts down a little bit. I don't know if he starts above 15. I don't know if I take him. I'd rather take Clement or LeBay. Lally, same thing, but he's a little bit better of a road course driver, I think, than Pardis. He's been about a 15th place one, just very consistent, around 15, 14 running position. BJ McLeod car kind of scares me a little bit. They're not the greatest equipment, and some of these road courses really take a grind there. Jade Buford in this big machine racing, he is so cheap. I think he's going to be the absolute lock and high chalk play no matter where he qualifies here, just based on his talent, based on this team, and based on what he can do, and just his price point is way too cheap for an experienced road course guy. Harrison Burton, I like him. He's one of my favorite drivers in Xfinity. 8.7 is a good price. If he starts way down, there's some place differential, I'm fine with that. But I don't think he's going to get up there and lead laps or even have a chance to win this. Struggled really at Miami, Ohio, Mid-Ohio. But then again, he has had some solid results. Coda 8.8, Daytona 5.4. So he's a little bit above average on road course racing. He's in great equipment. So if he starts down, then I love him for place differential. Myatt Snider, same thing. I don't think he's really too cheap here. He's a decent road course driver. I think he spent some time. I don't remember if he was one of the Trans Am guys or racing in Europe, but it's a Childress car. It's good equipment. He's good there. Spencer Plumley in a JD Motorsports car. He's another road course ringer. He finished, I think, around 20th at Coda. It's the only one he kind of ran this year. So I would hope that if he starts below 20th, then I'm okay playing him. If he starts too high up, like if he starts about 15th, even though he's 5'9", he might be a little bit risky. So I'm kind of hesitant on him. Ryan Ellison, not really interested there in a BJ McLeod car. Don't really know much about him. Kaz Grella, I like him. He's a solid road course driver. That's what he focused on. He has branched out to do other things. He's in the Childress, or not the Childress. Yeah, he's in. It says a Childress car. It's actually a Jordan Anderson car. So I have that wrong on the spreadsheet. I'll fix it before I post tomorrow. But with this Jordan Anderson car, this isn't fast. This is the one that Barry's been driving. Barry's not in the field this week, but Cascarella jumps in here, and I think they've got a good crew. They've got a good vision. It's a decent team, and definitely last year he finished in the top 10 here. So I like him. He's got a lot of Cup experience too. He actually, I think, was the one that they brought up to Cup last year for the Daytona Road Course when Austin Dillon had COVID. Don't quote me on that, but I think and he ran quite well. So Matt Jaskell, no thank you. Brandon Jones, there's potential here. Like Mid-Ohio, he was in the 8th, but this guy also wrecks a lot. She was like probably the first one out of the race. Kevin Harvick, we don't know what he's going to do here. Like he didn't really have speed in practice today. And his average for Cup road courses is 13.2 so just use that as a benchmark. If he starts below 13th, then he's got some place differential probably. If he starts above, then I don't know. He's probably a fade. He's a Cup driver, but he might be just using this for extra practice like he did for Coda. In Coda, his average running position was 6.7. He did much better than we thought he would do, but that was like a sloppy, messy race. It just looks it wasn't as bad as Cup race as the Xfinity one. There's still some rain, so I don't know. I think he's an interesting GPP, but I don't think he's some for cash. Tommy Joe Martin, not interested in. Kyle Weatherman is actually a decent road course driver. We kind of forget that sometimes, but you want him to start below 25th. And if he's like way down the pack, then he's got some potential to maybe get up into the 20s. Josh Bilicki is not actually a bad road course driver. He is actually going to get a lot of experience here. He ran here in a different series last weekend or a couple weekends ago. He's in the Trans Am race, I believe, here. He's doing this one. He's doing Cup. This team is decent. It's not bad equipment. So maybe he's not racing in all those different series. I think that's Cody Ware I'm thinking of. But anyways, Bilicki is at least doing double duty here. And I think it's more than just I think he actually wants to run this because he enjoys running. He ran it last year. His average running position in a bad car was 11.2. So in a better car here, not a great elite car, I think definitely at 6'7", he's one you might want to look at in cash, depending on when he starts. Ryan Saeed, Riley Hurst, GPP maybe not super interested. Boris said he's almost 60, I think, 5,700. He in the Hattori car, so it's decent. Last road race that he tried was a Coda. He came in 32nd, so I think he had some technical issues there. So, he's a very experienced driver. He used to be the one that you feared in Cup when like they used to do Washington's Line and Sonoma, and he jumped into a ride. So before the days of DFS even. So keep him on your radar too, especially if he starts down in the 30s. If his car holds up, he could have a decent day. He's not going to get up there and challenge for the win. I mean, that's more like Kraz Gralla, so like the new generation of Boris said. Cody Ware is very intriguing. I think he's a cash play at 5,100. I think Jade Buford is my lock, but I think if you're trying to get multiple studs in, Cody Ware would be the second guy I would put in, because again, he's putting in the work this weekend. He, I believe, is the one that has multiple he's in the Trans Am race. That's why he's gold here colored wise. Gibbs is in there and Sam Mayer all racing in it, just to try to get some experience to see this course. And he's doing Xfinity and Cup. So Brett Moffett, especially if he starts down here 30th, I think he's not a bad road course driver. He's about a 15th place one, and if he qualifies and higher than 30 and realize that maybe in practice he was using it for learning. If he qualifies anywhere below 15th, and not like super far down, I think he's a good play. Sam Mayer is going to be the future of NASCAR. He is Ty Gibbs light, let's just say. He won a truck race last year. Really hasn't had too much experience, but he's racing in the Trans Am to try to get some experience here, and he's in a good JR Motorsports car, so he's definitely got potential. Michael and that, it's just like it looks like these cars are set up similar because their speeds were similar, and they both finished in the 30s. Josh Williams, Timmy Hill, Brandon Brown, Chris Wright, I think is one that interests me. He's a good road course driver. The car is okay, and really the rest of these guys I'm not really interested in. Like Natalie Decker, 6K, like she's just been horrible. I mean, and I think most of these guys won't even qualify. I don't think Litch will qualify. Golding won't qualify. Earnhardt might qualify in owner's purse. Howard, I don't think Decker will get in. So I think that pretty much wraps things up. And like I said, it's going to be hard to tell you like now what to look at. Hopefully this helped a little bit. So once the lineups and everything come out, and if you have a couple like questions or so, just leave a comment, reach out to me on Twitter, MegaRoller31, and see if we can do to help you. Just trying to figure out what I'll be doing. This is not something I'm going to be putting 150 lines in. I'll just probably have 3. I'll probably have like cash split a couple different ways between a couple drivers and a GPP line, and just call it a day there. But the last Xfinity video we did, I hope you guys watched it, because the 3 core plays I gave you were 1, 2, and in the top 10, and absolutely dominated. I was points away from taking down some major GPPs. Like we're talking like less than a point for some of them. So the process is good. We've had some weeks where it hasn't hit, but we've had weeks ahead. It's such a high variant sport, but overall for the season, TK and I have been doing very well, and we just hope watching these videos has helped you out. So if we have helped you, give us a like, subscribe to our channel. We notice like almost 80% of you watching aren't subscribed, so we appreciate if you could do that to help us out. So thank you, and we'll see you for